I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to AfterBuzz TV's after show for Cooked with Cannabis. I always want to say Cooking with Cannabis. Cooked with Cannabis on Netflix. I'm your host, Cody Epperson.
On 420.
Happy 420, y'all.
Woo-hoo!
I could not be happier to celebrate this way. Like, this is a perfect way for me to pay tribute, for us to pay tribute to this high holiday. Holiday. I can't be the first one to have thought of that.
No.
Like I said, I'm Cody Epperson.
But you're coining it.
Yep, right? Trademark. And with me, I have cannabis newbie Jeff Williams in the house.
Yes, sir.
Jeffrey.
Hey, but after this, I might not be a newbie. I mean, I feel like I learned so much through these episodes.
Right?
We've all been educated today. And then we have cannabis connoisseur, Miss Kittie Kaboom.
What's up, guys? I am so excited.
You're teaching us so much stuff.
Yeah, and I feel good.
Right, the show's teaching us, but Kittie's adding her extra lessons on top of it too.
Just saying.
So many lessons. So many lessons.
So, okay, you guys, I'm not that clever because now that I'm looking at my notes, episode 5 is called High Holiday.
I was just about to say, wait, I didn't want to bust your bubble. I didn't want to say it out loud.
Just stole that. I can't trademark it. It already exists.
I would just ignore it
in my notes.
Right. They didn't just say that on the show that we're talking about.
It's so original.
What show?
Hilarious.
So,
you kids.
high holidays. So we're talking holiday food with cannabis infused in it. Guys, some of your overall thoughts. What do we think about this one? Oh, we're also doing episode 6, but we'll get to that in a minute. But tell me your overall thoughts of episode 5.
Jeff, please go first.
Oh, no, I love this episode just because of all the different meals and all the different holidays. And some were like based off holidays they weren't even celebrating. So I thought it was really cool and unique. And I love the chemistry between the best buds in this episode. Just
it was better.
I actually like way back, I actually worked with Michael Rappaport, so like I know him as a person. So like when he was like interacting with the different people, and like it was awkward for a second, but like that awkwardness is him, and he kind of thrives in that.
Thing,
so like,
right?
So like the banter between everybody, it was kind of funny, and it added another avenue for this episode.
Nice. That is nice. And I'm glad that I not allowed you, but I'm glad you went first because
I'm glad you allowed me too.
I know these words that come out of my mouth. I tell you.
Kitty is very gung-ho. She likes to just like jump in, and sometimes
excuse me,
if you can get in before her, like you got in.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm a talker. What do you want? This is why I do what I do. But I have to say, Jeff, I so wished that you would have seen 4 and 5. So even though we won't be reporting on it, please just watch it because they kicked ass with their selection of best buds. And so it's so funny that you say that because I was about to say this is really a hit or miss situation. Like I was not impressed with the panel, the best buds on 5. I wasn't mad at them necessarily. I was kind of mad at 6. And we've already established I was mad at 1 and 2, but 4 and 5, they nailed it. So
They hit on those ones.
They did, but I recognized a lot of them. 2 of them, obviously. Who doesn't know Michael Rappaport? And he is like kind of the awkward comedian that like serves up the jokes in such a way that you just go like, wait, what? So I get that, and I liked it a lot about him. And I like that he was so talkative and stuff. But like Amanda Seales, I flip-flop daily as to whether or not I stand for this girl. Like one day I'm so in love I can't take it, and the next day I just want to stab her in the neck. So I wasn't sure what she was going to bring to the table, and I was a little disappointed because who the hell is her friend James Jones? Did you see that they just introduced him as James Jones, her friend? I'm like, what makes him qualified to be on the show?
That's
like,
so disrespectful. He has a job, I hope, but like he's a grown A man. He's a grown ass man.
Don't
ever introduce me as Homeboy's friend.
Homegirl's friend. I don't think so.
I'm out. That's disrespectful.
It's so disrespectful. But clearly that's how they set it up. It almost made it look like we either didn't have the budget or the desire to find a fourth person. And Amanda was just like, I'm not coming unless my bestie can come. So he just literally like tagged along. Like, what?
How many people are watching that like, ooh, we should put his bestie in that? There's like, there's gotta be producers, there's gotta be editors, like, nah,
we're just gonna go with this.
Her bestie.
Right, her bestie. It was so dumb. And Amanda Seales, comedian and actress, and her friend, James Jones. Like, and he didn't contribute anything to the conversation, and he acted like he was supposed to be there. I don't know. Again, my opinion of the best buds was womp, womp, womp. I think they could have done better. And I think that the one person that I did identify with to some degree, Amanda Seales, was just like kind of tight-lipped. Maybe that's the way they edited it. You know how reality TV goes. So who knows? You know what I mean? She might have been talking their heads off and they were just like, we don't want to hear that. So who knows? But the impression I got is that she was a little too school for cool, which I don't like when people are just like, I'm so over it. Like, girl, sit down somewhere. You barely made it into prime time. No shade, no tea. I'm just saying. So that's how I feel about the best buds, just in case y'all were wondering.
It's a hit or a miss. And I think I touched on it last episode. It's just like, sometimes when you're with a bunch of people that are high, it's like, it's hard to have a conversation. And sometimes all you can do is laugh at the conversation.
Exactly.
So really,
and then have like
just
a
hit or a miss. It's straight up an experiment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, prayerfully, I'm gonna put it out there to the prayers, because I do love the show. I can't front. I've learned so much. So prayerfully it comes back next season and they are better at being able to like pick and choose who should be at the table as a best bud. Because again, I was just completely underwhelmed.
Yeah, the best friend, like the requirements are very low.
Right? Like, sheesh. I'm about to apply and be like, check this out. I like to smoke and I like to eat. What's up?
This is Kittie Kaboom. She has an Instagram.
Exactly.
I'm a dog sitter.
A dog sitter.
It's like, what are the qualifications? Like, what do we rank best friend, dog sitter?
Exactly. I scoop ice cream every day, but not for a living. I think that would be an interesting talking point. Like,
what?
Because it's food and I like it. And then, like, you sound ridiculous. Yeah, I was not impressed, clearly. But anyway, the show is not all about the best buds. But
so episode 5, it's called High Holidays, nice holiday themed. I was expecting a lot of Christmas stuff, but I like that they were like, any holiday, make your pick.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so we had Liv and Derek and Patrick. How do you guys feel? Do you think they hit the net? Do you think they did it? They hit it with the. Gosh, you
did
think
it with the hit? Who's high?
I have not smoked
Who
today.
is high? Raise your hand.
Do you think they did it with hitting the nail on the head with like holiday themed foods? Like, please.
I mean,
tell me.
I was like, what question are you asking?
Did they hit it? Did they hit it?
Right. Was it done? Did it high? Wait.
It's been a long day.
Wait, button.
I feel that.
I don't know what I'm doing. No, I do. Right. I feel that as well. I will say that I think they were very entertaining, most certainly. I feel like, and I could be wrong here, once again, making judgments about people that I have never, ever met in person. So let me just make that as a disclaimer. But I feel like Patrick is like, oh God, that's not right to say. I get the impression that he's from a more rural town.
Okay.
So that makes me think that maybe his exposure to other ethnicities and groups of people is not that varied, because he just sounded very like smug and like, I didn't get no formal education. You know, I just went under a chef and he taught me what he could. And this is what I come up with. And you're going to like it. Like, I'm sorry, sir.
He's passionate.
You can't make me like that. So I don't know. To answer your question, I like what they brought to the table. I will say that he took a nice little twist on things. That's their like go-to. You know, I made a dish.
He picked Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he picked Thanksgiving, and he kind of killed it a little bit. Like, I wasn't impressed with how he was able to interpret the dishes and make them his own and stuff. I just thought his attitude was hilarious, but I did enjoy him. And Derek, are you kidding me? He was everything. Yeah, I liked him a lot. And Miss Liv, that got in there and was just like, I'm not picking a holiday. I'm doing it all. So just call me the GOAT because I'm about to handle all this. You know what I mean? Because Derek did Ramadan and then Patrick did Thanksgiving, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the green beans. But see, even that is what makes me know green beans don't be on our table. But I'm just saying that is just.
Green bean casserole is on our table, and it was always my least favorite dish.
I was gonna say, well, that's a table I won't be at. Stay safe.
Just
have
saying.
a great time.
Enjoy yourself.
Exactly. No, I feel you 100%. On the Patrick one, I just wrote like I don't want to be rude. I never want to be rude, but like they threw me off. They threw me off. Like Patrick, I just never saw eye to eye with him.
That's because he don't be nowhere that he see people like you, so he don't know what that eye to eye look like, bro. Just saying.
You say it. You speaking for both of us. I'm just saying. But Liv, I mean, I think she was cool. Like you said, she was a GOAT. She tried to do everything, and she was doing really well. But like, I promise you, I'm not trying to be rude. I promise y'all. But like every time Derek talked, cooked, leaned over, I was like, please don't get any sweat in the food.
I know.
I could not think about it. Like I was like, I can't eat this. I can't watch
That is literally
like the producer's like, stop. Be halfway through the interview, wipe your face, do something. And
he even says he's like
he looked into a pot. I know there was sweat in there. I sweat a lot. That's nasty. I can't do it. I can't do it. Liv won because one's nasty. I can't understand the other one. Liv is my winner. That wasn't even a question, but that's the answer.
He knew though that he knew it. He even called himself out. He was like, yo, like,
I'm big,
like, I'm a sweaty
and I'm
guy.
sweaty.
He's like, I don't go anywhere without a towel. Like, he knows it. But at the same time, looking back on all these episodes, they're sweaty. It must be, that is my first note. It's like, it must be so hot in that studio.
Yeah.
Because
remember
in
they had to
episode
open the
4,
garage
Chris
and all
was
that?
sweaty. They'd open the garage. They must be in like some bunk little studio in like Glendale, like with no AC.
Try Van Nuys. Van Nuys is more appropriate.
That was one of my notes, that it must be so hot in there.
It must be.
Yeah, but season 2 is going to be better. Season 2 is going to be better.
I think so too. And let's just be clear, sweaty that drips down your face or that we can't see, like a little glistening here on your neck. Okay. But when you're that big and you're literally like leaning over the food, spooning it into your mouth, I'm sorry, but I think something just trickled down into the food. So I want nothing to do with it.
Just a little more flavor. It's salt.
I don't need that sweetness. I don't want that sweetness.
I don't want no part. No, thank you. I'm so good.
I was like, I saw that. I was like, he said like maybe 3 words. I said, hard pass. Next guy, please. Thank you.
That's so mean.
I'm not eating.
So
I'm sorry.
mean.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm here for the meanness. I am here.
So he was a nice guy. He was a nice guy.
Very nice guy. Sweetie pie.
Liv is the one who won this episode.
She did.
How do we feel about that?
Go Liv. I feel like she deserved it.
Mostly, I think, all plant-based meals.
Right. Very really intentional. Very deliberate. I like anything that's intentional and deliberate, to be quite honest. I can be quite sloppy at times. Not that I want to be, but I can kind of be all over the place. But my point is that when I do take the time to like intentionally do something or deliberately make a choice, I always feel better about it, because then you take a step back and you determine what makes the best, what makes the most sense for the next move. So she clearly thought this out when given the opportunity to pick a holiday. She was like, I'm not about to limit myself to one holiday. You know what I mean? I'm a beast. I'm the GOAT. So I'm going to show them what I'm capable of, and they're going to love it. Excuse me. So I absolutely love that she took on that challenge and was just like, just wait and see. I got you. And it all was very relevant to each other. Like it made sense. Again, deliberate. She was really good at it. She didn't look stressed at all. She wasn't like pulling her hair out. Obviously she was sweating, but she wasn't like, nuts in the back of the kitchen, like, oh, what am I going to do? No meltdown situations. I mean, we didn't see any of those, but that could have been the case. So yeah, I think that everything she cooked looked delish. It really did look good. Something I would definitely partake in. I don't know about that octopus and the other show, but this I would eat.
How do you feel about her taking home that $10,000, Joe?
No, I loved it. She was my pick. I mean, the field was not like there for me. Like everybody else was just kind of on the side, but she was my pick. Besides that, um, the, as crazy as it sounds, I don't think there was a meal I would actually eat.
Really?
I mean, but I'm also a picky eater, so like
sounds like it, bro.
Catch me with some real cheeseburgers, with some real chicken fingers, and some real
God!
fries.
Hey,
Don't
Jeff,
catch me
you
with
are not that guy. You're a grown man. Chicken fingers.
I'm a grown man.
face.
With Red Robin,
said,
I get those
look.
clucks and fries, baby.
Thank you. It's unlimited fries. Come on, we know this.
But yeah, right, unlimited fries.
Oh my God, I hate you guys.
Their seasoning is for some reason so much better than anybody else's like seasoned salt.
Look, not to jump into the next episode, but when I saw macaroni, I was like, oh my, he's already the winner. And I was like, maybe not, maybe not.
I'll tell you about where to get some good macaroni after we're done.
I don't want y'all to talk about no damn macaroni and chicken fingers. I want you guys to talk about elevating your palates. What the hell? Chicken fingers?
Look, everything tastes good to different people. I'm just saying that
we'll go with that. How about this, Jeff? When the world opens back up, I mean this with all sincerity.
Yes.
I'm not saying I'm balling, but I got a little coin. We might take a trip. Dinner would definitely be on me. I get to pick. And you have to eat. You
have to eat.
Boy, you better not get in there. Order no goddamn. Can I get the buffalo wings, please? Thank you very much.
What about a steak? What about a steak, though?
Yeah, maybe. We'll talk about it. We'll have to talk about it. We'll talk about it. Just say that you'll go.
I'm down.
And you, Mr. Cody, you're going too, because you sound like you're over there eating pizza every damn night too.
Girl, my last 3, like I said earlier, my roommates got my last 3 meals have been Hot Pockets.
Oh my God! That's horrific.
Look, I had B-dubs yesterday. I can't say nothing.
Horrible. Oh my God! Moving on. I'm sorry.
I think Liv did a great job, like plant-based food and winning that competition. Like, good for her. I was doing this thing. I was marking down everybody's what their food was for each course, and then marking which one I liked. And ironically, on this panel, Patrick was the one who won food-wise for me.
Really?
But that's I think Liv. I thought his appetizer and his dessert were like on point. Like I thought Liv's dessert was like, it just looked like that's something I wanted to talk about. Was a lot of these chefs were saying like, oh, I'm making a deconstructed this, and I'm just like, deconstructed just sounds like you didn't feel like finishing. Like you just threw the ingredients together and you didn't put it. And like I get that, like, oh, it's a deconstructed tart. I'm like, no, there's no tart. You just put the fruit and the cream on separate parts of the plate.
Look, there's nothing about that that's tart. Like nothing.
Right.
There's no tart.
And I'm sure it was delicious.
So you say she's lazy?
I was just like, and then the previous episode, somebody else did something deconstructed. I was like, oh yeah, great. Or deconstruction. I just don't appreciate
AKA lazy. Okay.
Yeah, I just don't appreciate this deconstructed food.
Got you. We know your feeling on it now. Makes sense.
But,
yeah.
I wanted to so I'm gonna do things a little out of order, and we'll get there in a minute. But I wanted to jump into the special segment now because I'm gonna have to I want to jump into the special segment now with Jeff. So what do you got for us?
Yes, and the special segment is That Hit Different, where we talk about different things in the show that like kind of reminded us of our own lives. So my example of that hit different is when I forgot which one of the hosts, they were talking about like some of their first experiences with weed, and I think the comedian they were talking about that they didn't have a great experience with weed, and it reminded me of my first time actually smoking, and I didn't know until after it was actually K2, and that is something you should never smoke if you don't know already.
Ever.
And
I'm gonna, not to interrupt you, I don't know what that is.
Break it down.
From my knowledge, it was like a off-brand
synthetic
version
spice?
of weed. Yes,
it's like spice. Yeah.
Okay.
So like back when that was big, I was like, oh, that's just another version of weed. So we smoked it. When I tell you, I was in the car, smoked it, trying to go into the movie theater. I thought the whole world was moving. I remember going around the parking lot, touching cars, like, why are they not moving? Everything goes black. I wake up at the end of Iron Man 1. So I had to rewatch that movie again.
Right.
But I mean, that was my first ever experience with weed. Obviously, it is not a good one, and obviously you should like know what you're doing before you get yourself involved in that kind of stuff. But that hit different when I heard that into the episode.
I bet that probably would have made you not want to smoke real weed, because
look,
right, that would have deterred you.
It was a decent amount of time before I smoked again after that.
Right, you're like, no, I'm good. If it's anything like what I've done, not so much. Right, I'm good. That hits different, right in the same vein of what you're saying. And note to the wise, or however it goes. I remember I hadn't done edibles in a long time. Excuse me, I had only smoked flower, and I was going to the movies, and I wanted to go see this particular movie under the influence. So I was like, I'm going to stop at the dispensary and just get some edibles and see how this goes. Again, sorry. My experience before then was like home baked goods. You know what I mean? Where again, you aren't able to like gauge how much is in each and da-da-da. It's luck of the draw. So I just figured, I don't know what told me that 50 milligrams sounded about right. So
how many?
50.
50.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I bought a bag. I bought a bag of gummies. They were 10 each, and there was 10 in them. So inevitably, right? I'm like, 50 sounds good. So I literally like shovel 5 into my mouth. I get to the movies, and I'm sitting there like watching the movie. Well, even before it started, it like started to creep up, and I was like, oh, good, it's kicking in early. So I just got comfortable in my seat, like, this is about to be good. But then I realized that the lady beside me had been talking to me for like 5 minutes, and I had no idea. And I just kept remembering going in slow-mo, like, are you talking to me, right? So after the movie's over, I'm like, oh yeah, I am toast right now. Like, I'm good. I'm gonna make it through. I'm gonna get home fine. I just have that faith in myself. I gotta just pull it together, because it wasn't like ridiculous, but it just was enough that was like, okay, seriously. Then when I get home, I had the nerve, because it's my go-to, right? Like, you know how you just they become patterns. So I go right to like get some smoke to roll up, and I'm like, what? I am so high. What am I doing? Like, I don't need any of that. So I say all that to say, know your dosages. Take your time. If you're not a smoker, like Cody shared, he used to smoke all the time. Then he did like 15 and was done. You know what I mean? Or didn't you say that, Cody? Somebody told me that.
Yeah, I've learned to take down my amounts.
Exactly. So for those of us,
personal dosage,
those of y'all, not those of us, but those of y'all that don't partake on a regular basis, like bite it in half, do 5, wait 30 minutes and see where it goes. Ask the person at the dispensary which ones are stronger, which ones are more popular because of their strength, what strain makes the most sense, and what even the flavors sometimes are indicative of how high you're going to get, which I did not know initially. Like watermelon is going to take you to the moon, and strawberry will just have you nice. So you really need to know all of those things, because thank God, like I am a smoker, so I was fine, but I was Chester Cheetah high. You know what I mean? I was just too high. And I should not have been that high at the movies, because I was literally talking to that lady, and it just sounded like an echo in my head. So yeah, it hit different that day with the 50. Yeah. Next time I know.
Oh yeah.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I had a similar situation. It was like the night before I went to a party, and my friend who was hosting the party, she was more like inclined towards the cannabis side of things. So like there was like booze there and like snacks, but there was also like, she had like THC, like sun-kissed that you could mix with your tequila. And like, so it was very like a very loosey goosey party.
Oh, that's really cool.
And I was very into that tequila sun-kissed THC.
Right.
And so at the end of the night though, it was like, I was one of the like last people to leave. And she had a little like, there were like weed candies around, and I took a little chocolate home with me. And the next day I was on the phone with my friend from in a different city, and we were just talking it up. We hadn't talked in a while, and I kind of casually was eating the chocolate, and then all of a sudden I was just like, I felt like I was yelling, like everything that I just felt like I was like screaming at her, not screaming, but like just very loudly. I couldn't control my volume anymore. And I was getting very self-conscious. And it was my old roommate. And I was like, and her name was Patty. I was like, Patty, I am so high right now. Like, I'm so sorry. I love you, but I have to go. Like, I'm not even functioning anymore. And I hung up and I looked and it was 100 milligram little square chocolate.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't like, this was like this is like a defining moment for me, because I was like, I need to realize what I'm eating before I eat it.
Yes.
Because it didn't used to be so regulated. So sometimes you would like eat a chocolate covered blueberry and you'd be like, whatever. And sometimes you'd eat it and you'd be like, whoa. And I literally, the rest of the night I was in bed. I was so sensitive to everything. I had earplugs in, I had an eye mask on. This is something weird about me. When I smoke or get high, I get very cold, which is really weird. Okay. So I had like big old hoodie on, hood up, under my covers, TV on, but earplugs in, with the volume low. And then like, for some reason, like my dad in the next room kept like smacking his like computer charger like on the floor. And every time it like hit the wood, I was like, oh my gosh, it was so. And at one point I literally sat up in bed and was just like, I'm so miserable, and I couldn't like fix it. It was just, it hit different.
Baby, right? You have to let that like just go away. And with edibles, it's so different than with flower, because you just don't know how to make it stop after a certain time. You're like, okay, we're on hour 3 now, and I'm still up here with the giraffe butt. I don't want to be this high. Like, bring me down. Yes.
I have a question. Is it true that ice cream helps get you down from high?
Milk. It's milk.
Milk does? Milk?
Yeah,
okay.
so I guess any milk products are good.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, milk helps.
I heard like when you're like too high from an edible, you should either, I guess it was milk. I thought it was ice cream, but it might have been the same. Either way. But like, I heard that helps. And I was like, noted.
It does help.
Hopefully I never have to get to that point. But
right. Exactly. So then we can all say it hit different, and we know now to take these in portions, take your time, obviously know what your dosage is, because I mean, I'm a regular smoker, so I was like, 50 that sounds about right. Like, no, girl, not unless you are literally trying to walk like you're on the moon. That's what it felt like. Like I was just bouncing to the car, like, hey. Anyway, yeah.
So y'all, okay, I have to admit there was a bit of a timing constraint, and I haven't seen episode 6, and I'm really mad about it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna hang out, and I'll try, and I'll like be part of the conversation. But I'm gonna let you guys take over, do news, and talk about episode 6. And I'm gonna let.
No, you're good.
Let's
go.
I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere. This is too much fun.
Awesome.
I'm pissed that you haven't seen it, but like, I'll let it slide. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it was just time. I was doing another show.
Right. No, this man's busy, baby.
Trust me, it's 420.
Like I said,
we know you busy.
You had something to do. It's 420. But Katie, what'd you think? Kitty, what'd you think?
I was gonna say, I don't know who the hell Katie is.
Hey, Katie, don't beat me up. It's been a long 420. No, I'm kidding.
No problem.
But Kitty, what'd you think of episode 6?
I enjoyed it very much. Again, the best buds, not so much. Like, they were cornballs, all of them, from start to finish. I was not impressed with any of them. I'm looking at the names, trying to like read. The only person that stood out to me was Jade. And that's because she kind of reminds me of the old Kittie. Like, just very controlling. Like, yes, I'm funny. And yes, I can interject jokes and all like that. But I'm trying to like control this whole situation. I'm telling people what to do. How about relax yourself? You're about to have some cannabis. Enjoy the time here. Interject when appropriate. Say funny things. But how about don't tell this man, don't eat that plant. Did you just use your knife and your fork the opposite? Why do you care how that man eating? She was doing the most.
It wasn't her show.
It was not her show. But that's like the old Kittie, and it was making me cringe because I was like, oh, Father God, please tell me that's not who I am anymore. Like, it's hard to watch that someone that just thinks that they are running shit and you ain't got a nickel in that dime. Like, just relax. They're literally feeding you and making you high for free. Take the weed food and just enjoy yourself. Girl, you got too much. And don't do this. And why are you doing that? And what's happening over there? Baby, she was making me drained. So that's the only person that stood out, just because she was a pain in the ass. Yeah, but I will say that I enjoyed the overall comfort food theme. I thought that was kind of cute. We knew we were going to get there at some point, right?
Yep.
Like obviously edibles, munchies that we all get. And I don't know about y'all, but for me, my go-to when I have the munchies is always like sugar. So I'm always thinking of like cakes and like cookies and stuff like that. But I love that they were able to relate to some other stuff. Lots of butter, lots of
Mm-hmm.
sauces, you know what I mean? Lots of fried this and deep fried that. Love
Exactly.
that. We can all appreciate that. And I love the three people that were contestants. I have to say, unfortunately, Jeff, you weren't here, but we talked about this in great detail, how there are great disparities between ethnicities. Black and brown people have been statistically have been institutionalized and put in jail and just made to feel like scum because of their involvement with cannabis, whether it's as a
Yeah.
smoker or a dealer or whatever. And now that the industry has literally been turned on its head, now it's elegant and it's in prepackaged pretty stuff. And you know how that, your cousin's still locked up for 15 years for selling that dime bag. But your girl over here has now just opened a dispensary in Beverly Hills and she's the next big thing. Anyway, that's a discussion for a different day. But I did think that this show was very instrumental in bringing that home without making it a thing. And I have to say that is what I love the most about this show, is that they are willing to bring certain things to the forefront without like pointing it out in such a way that would make it either awkward or people feel uncomfortable or like, oh, here we go with the history lessons. You know what I mean? I don't think Patrick would have been too open to them being like, well, this is how it really goes down. And where Patrick lives, nobody is ever prosecuted. Like he would have been like, I don't want to hear this mess, So I like that they do that. And I say that because Matthew, AKA Matthew Chase, which he identified himself as Chase, so I guess that's his nickname. He was incarcerated, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a white man. I don't know where he's from. He's heavily tattooed. I don't know what he was into, gangs or whatever the heck. I don't know any of that. But I do know that as a white male in America, he was he was locked up in 95. They sentenced him in 96, and he was released from jail in 99. So we're talking from 95 to 99 was his entire experience. Again, I don't know what he was caught with. I don't know what the charge was. It was just very vague. It had something to do with marijuana. All I'm saying is, can you imagine if that was Manny's situation or life experience? And
he would be on this episode.
This is what I'm saying to you. Because your cousin and them is still locked up, like I said, for that dime bag 20 years ago. Okay, so it's very interesting to see that they put them both on the same show. And I think that was a subtle, well, for me, it wasn't subtle, but for most people, it just kind of, oh, this is their backstory. And that's very interesting. Isn't that even more interesting that this is his story, and where Manny is the CEO of a community empowerment situation in his neighborhood, which is right, like amazing that he's been able to focus. But that's what he does. He goes around and gives speeches and talks about the disparity that exists, that brown people can do better or do amazing things in life, not better, because they always been bomb. But and just allowing people to know that there's more to life than just what's presented with you. That whole shebang, you know what I mean? Pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. This is America. Take advantage of it. All of that is a dope thing. But all I could think was, as a Hispanic male, he could have very easily, especially dealing with cannabis, been Chase and Chase been him. But as you said, he wouldn't have been on the show. He would still be locked up. No question about it. So I did like the fact that they kind of threw that in there. Again, I don't know if it was intentional, but I would assume so. I mean, they're producers, right? Like, I don't think they just throw these things together. So that made sense to me. And I really liked Danielle too. I thought she was super cute. And I like what she brought to the table, but I was way more intrigued with the guys and what they did. So yeah, I liked it a lot. And real quick, I like the fact that they threw like weird ass food in there. Remember we were talking about that, Cody? Like, I don't think quail and duck would have been my go-to, but they had quail legs, they had cannabis chips, all that stuff was kind of delightfully. It was, interesting. I would have definitely eaten some quail legs and some cannabis chips. They sound good. But it's not your chicken nuggets. So I don't know if you guys enjoy them.
You definitely would have ate those food. Me, not
yes,
so much.
You would have.
I mean,
if you're on the show, you have to eat the food.
Nah, don't get me wrong. If I'm on the show, I'll act like I like a lot.
I was about to say you about to fake it.
I'm like, oh, this is great. I'd be in the back like, what in the world did I just eat? Why am I out here eating an octopus?
Right.
But on TV, I love it. It's the greatest thing ever. Yeah, whatever you need me to say.
Right.
But like, just going off on some of your points, I'm surprised you didn't. I thought Danielle was the goat that you described. What's her name? Liv from last episode.
Oh yeah.
Because Danielle came in. She came into the whole show like, look, I did this. I've been a cook. I got this. Bang, bang, down. And I'm like,
are you really whopping
like,
though, bro? You
like,
was hitting.
I mean, pretty much. I mean, I thought she was. I thought she came in that hot, and I was like, okay, your stuff better be on point.
Right.
We'll get to if it was on point.
We'll get to that in a minute.
We'll get to that in a minute. But like with Manny, I love this story. I thought he not only was the story great, but he hit on all his food. So I love seeing that.
And his demeanor. He was a little too school for cool in a good way.
Very true. Very true. Yeah. And then with Chase, I love how you said that it was like a kind of flip-flop, how you would kind of assume his backstory would have been about somebody of color or something because he's been convicted for weed, and then now he's out and kind of using that kind of stuff. But like you said, it wasn't, and it kind of flipped out on his head, and I love that. But I think we need to get into the food side now and talk about, since we're on Chase, we need to talk about that daggone macaroni. What did you think about it? Cody, for reference, he made cauliflower macaroni. So I'm gonna just leave it at that, because
I mean, it was supposed, put the cheese in there. It was macaroni and cheese, but it was made with cauliflower.
Yeah, but like I wrote down mac and cheese winner, no cauli, right? That, like, because I love macaroni and cheese. That is my favorite food on everything. Kraft.
And you don't like cauliflower? Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. Maybe I'll just make food and bring it up there.
But why would I eat it? But why? It's not macaroni and cauliflower.
Good. What do you mean? Why would you eat it?
It's not cauliflower and cheese. It's not macaroni and cauliflower. Like, it's not, like, no. So what is your like thoughts on all the food?
Everybody said the same thing. It's not wet enough. It's the dry. First of all, if there's cheese, why is it dry? Why does it feel like you just sparkled some Parmesan on top of some cauliflower that's undercooked? That part. So yeah, I did not enjoy. I mean, obviously I didn't taste it, but I didn't enjoy the commentary. I didn't enjoy the way it looked at all. And what was the food that he made right after the macaroni and cheese? Do you remember?
No.
Yeah, because that was pretty bad too. He got no points for that one as well.
Yeah, it was bad. But like, speaking of no points,
and Danielle was the one that kept forgetting to put the THC, right?
Yes. So Cody, there was the lady that I said that was coming in like, I'm the GOAT, Millie Wop and everything. Danielle, tell me why one of her meals, they're like, oh, so like, what is the measurements on this? She's like, well, it's 0.0 because my sauce is in the back over there and I was right. I'm like, why'd you even bring me food? I would have been pissed. I would have been pissed. I probably, like, no lie. I'm like, so can I walk over there and get it? Like, why am I eating it? Exactly. So like,
supposedly the food was really good, but if the show's purpose, she didn't have the time. Right. They told her to stop time and she wasn't able to put it.
If the food's bomb, Cody, what do you like? If the food's bomb, but there's no THC or CBD, how would you rate that?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I mean, because at this point, I mean, I don't know what was this, like the entree? I mean, if you're already high, like maybe you're just hungry anyway.
No,
but like
was
the
that
show
the entree?
I want to say it was the first one.
No, that wasn't the entree because they gave her one. Yeah, because they gave her. They're like, all right, you about to make the dessert. Get it together.
With cannabis, so it's like without it's like what? Like,
yeah.
I get, like, I mean, and I pointed this out at the beginning. It's like, this is a very friendly show, and I like that it's not like so cutthroat, but it's still a competition. And you left out, you didn't have time for the most important ingredient.
Pretty much. Yeah. And don't think the other comedians, like I told y'all, I didn't find them amusing or even entertaining, but one of them did say, like, I'm sorry, why did you bring me this? Why am I eating this? Like, make me understand.
Oh my God.
And then the other one, he was cutthroat. He was like, oh, she's eliminated. Oh, she's done. And they were like, I might actually like the food. How are you going to say she's done? Because there's no THC. So she's done. We don't care about her anymore.
I'm not
Thanks
eating.
for speaking collectively about everybody. But yeah, I get that. I mean, I do get that.
If it was David Ramsey, then I would be worried about the food.
But exactly.
And I'm not. So we're worried.
So there's that.
We're worried about the THC. But
no
like
question.
and we get to see that Manny is the winner. How'd you feel about that one?
Oh my gosh, I was ecstatic. And again, his response to him winning, he got like a little excited, I guess, with a big fat smile. But then Leather was like, "I'm sorry, do you not hear the words that are coming out of my mouth? You just won $10,000, bro." He was like, "Yeah, no, I heard you. Awesome. I'm ready to get to work." And it was like, okay. And that's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? But
that's a grinder.
That's a grinder because he has to be. And I swear I'm not trying to make this like some, politically charged where I'm running out in the street with my protest signs. But I am just saying we should be cognizant of this. He doesn't have a choice. He has to grind. If he does not, he will not be able to keep up with even the bottom of the elite or the entitled or the whatever you want to call it, the 1%. And so I love that was his attitude. And he clearly was stoked. You know what I mean? At the end of it, he was like, "Oh, when I get back, like my family, my familia, my friends, like everybody's going to be like
it's gonna be
ecstatic." Cool. Yeah, it's going to be super cool. So he was excited in his own way. And I really did respect that about him. And the food was like he was coming up with these amazing meals that he got from his background, his Mexican background. Like everything was Mexican. I want to say Mexicali because that's ignorant. No, but from Mexico, and just the fact that he was able to bring his own flavor into so many different and just meals that you would not have considered. He put a twist on a whole lot of things and made them unique and interesting. And they looked delicious. Everybody said they were great. So yeah, I feel like he was deserving, definitely.
That's what's up. And like that is the end of episode 6. But I kind of want to, before we leave, Cody, I want to bring you back in and kind of ask what was you guys' favorite moments of the season, because this is our last episode of the season 1. So Kittie, go for you first.
My favorite show, I would have to say, looking at my notes, sorry.
Quick picks. It gotta be off the dome.
I mean, I can't even tell you if I don't remember who I'm doing.
Look, if you ask me my favorite food, I know it off the dome. I'm like, wait.
Well, yeah, because you only like 3 things.
Let me look at my cookbook for what.
You only like 3 things, bruh. So don't come for me, okay?
I think the macaroni's right here.
Oh, anyway. Lauren, so yeah, 2. I would have to say, and show 2, and I totally loved Lauren, Corrine, and Stacy. They were my favorites. They were fun. They were interesting. They had some entertainment value. They had some, some chutzpah, some charisma. So it was interesting to watch. Yeah, I liked them the most.
Cody, what about you?
Yeah. You actually, I literally was like, oh crap, what was my like favorite part of the show?
Thank you.
And it was Corrine. I loved that episode.
Yeah.
All 3 of them were so talented and so nice. And then, like I said, she stole the show for me with that whole like, what are you gonna do with your $10,000? I'm gonna get a hot tub. Like everyone at my wedding was stoned. Like it's just that one.
Yeah,
was my
she was the bomb.
sure.
I have to admit. And before we go, can I just make the point something that I'm sure we all noticed but did not say? And I'm not a big fan of cooking shows, but obviously I'm sold on this one. I can't wait to watch it again. I think with something that we neglected to mention that has been a kind of a common stay in the kitchen is that a lot of these chefs relate they pay homage to people before them, people that have somehow inspired them. Usually it's family. My grandfather taught me this, or I learned this from my dad or my mom, like literally every single one of them. And I don't know how true that is for our art necessarily, but I find that that's like a running theme for most chefs, that they feel inspired by someone that kind of took them under their wing. And most of the time it's family, and taught them like the basics. And from those basics, they could see how this is what they wanted to do. And then everything they did after that was just like, this is for my grandmother, my grandfather. This is for my, mom that taught me how to fry fish when I was 6 or whatever, and I just think that's so beautiful that they have someone that everything they do, they can like base it upon somebody that's already been here and shown them the ropes, and how to at least create the basics of that. Paying homage is just it touches my heart. I think that we should all be so lucky as to have someone that, whether it's a mentor or whomever, that pulls us aside and be like, I see something in you and I think you can go further with this. I'm going to teach you all that I know, but you're going to far outweigh anything I've done. So just let me give you the basics and like run with it,
100%.
Yeah.
100%. But yeah,
just
that,
saying.
I mean,
what was your favorite, Jeff?
Yeah, Jeff.
So my favorite was probably 5. Yeah, Chad. No, my favorite was probably 5. I love the awkwardness of the Best Buds because of Rappaport and just the different dynamics of the people.
Oh yeah,
as well as
that was funny.
I mean, as well as like my guy that was too sweaty. Like as much as I talk crap about him, I thought it was hilarious.
Right.
And then just like the different dynamics of everybody. Like I still love every time when the chef on the far side is cooking and he's doing well. The two people are looking on the side like, oh, dang, I should have did this different. I should like they're talking crap and stuff. So I love that. But yeah, I guess mine would be 5 for sure.
Oh, but and can I just say the one thing that I did enjoy about 5, I'm sorry, is that they got Alaska Thunder F to convert, right? She's a total vegan, except on Thanksgiving.
And she said it, I'm a vegetarian. And then she still ate that lamb chop.
She sure did. She tore that thing up because lamb is good, girl. So yeah, I enjoyed that. I thought that was kind of cute. Like, you done come over to the other side, baby. That was funny. Yeah,
Heck
I enjoyed it. So I think that's all the time that we have for now. We have done our special segment. I don't think we have time for my news, unfortunately, because I actually did it. But we can look forward to hopefully being on the panel again in season 2. It's going to be so good. Khalees can dress her ass off and she is gorgeous and her hair is healthy or whatever. So I stand for Khalees. Please bring Leather back because he is adorbs. And yeah, I hope that we make it for next season. And I hope to see you guys so soon because I love you. I miss you guys. Can't wait to get back to the studio. Same. Cody, please tell us where we can find you.
This is a super fun panel. I'm stoked on this one, you guys. I'm looking forward to season 2. You can find me on Instagram at Cody Epp, CODYYEPP.
Excellent. And Jeff, where you at, boy?
Yeah. We ever done No, you guys can follow me at Jeff Will Jr. on all social media platforms if y'all want to continue the conversation. It is 420. We are celebrating. I'll see you guys after this.
Yeah, happy holidays.
Hey, where they finding you, Kittie?
Already, because I've been microdosing all day. I feel awesome. My name is Kittie Kaboom, KITTIE Find me on Instagram under that moniker. And at Twitter, my handle is Kittie Meow. So get at me. Yeah, continue whatever conversation you want. Bring it, baby, because I'm ready for you. Thanks you guys so much for coming. Hopefully we will see you next season.
Yeah. Happy 420.
Happy 420.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.